Good to go. Still need the backdrop. Good evening, Taza. Come on, guys, let's get seated so we can start this session on time. Where are the jury members? I can only see Naveen. So we'll start in a minute. We'll wait for others to join in. हो जा रही है. Perfect. We have the main jury member here with us, Ipshita. Thank you, Ipshita, for joining in. Thank you for being consistent. Perfect. So good evening, Taza. Welcome to the 6th session of Taza X. It's a very interesting session. It's going to be. Perfect. So today we have Rajan Rawat, who is our Senior Project Delivery Manager. One of the interesting facts I just got to know about him, he's 17 years experience. I asked him thrice, 17 or 7. He looks very young. And one more interesting thing, he just told me that he's having 20 slides of presentation with him. We have a very interesting topic today, which is beyond delivery, leading teams through the last mile. I really want everyone to be very attentive here. Majority of the audience that is sitting here and available online, this is going to be very relevant to you because the last mile is the most critical mile, right? So let's just clap, applause, and welcome Rajan Rawat. ठीक है चलिए.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining here. Now, we've all been a part of a product or a feature launch that felt like a great success on day one, but a couple of months down the line, we realized no one was actually using it, right? I don't know if it sounds familiar or not, but we know it's true. And the problem is not bugs, it's not bad code, it's not technical depth, and it has nothing to do with why we are moving from Jira to GitHub projects, right? The gap between shipping and actually landing a project is what hampers us. And today we'll talk about how we can bridge this gap and actually go beyond delivery. All right, so in the next 15 minutes or so, we are going to journey through these 6 concepts from escaping the build trap to mastering what we call the last mile, right? Think of this as a roadmap from being a feature factory to becoming a value delivery machine. All right, now, what is a build trap? Now, shipping features is easy. Delivering value is the real product. The sooner we embrace this, the better our outcomes will be, right? Now, what's a build trap? You can see the symptoms, right? If your product roadmap looks like an assembly line, features after features after features, you release a feature, you congratulate yourself, and you immediately move on to the next feature. Nobody even checks if anyone uses what we sent out, right? Does this sound familiar? I'm sure it does. But here's the thing, it's not entirely your fault. If you look at the causes, most of the times organizations and leaderships always ask you, what did we deliver? What did we ship this month or this quarter? No one asks you, what value did you deliver? Our performance reviews reward speed and not impact. Most of the times we run projects with deadlines and not products in life cycles. So you're going to be in a build trap if you measure success by story points and not problem solved. You'll remain in the build trap if your definition of done is deployed to production and not user adoption. And you'll be in a build trap when someone asks you what your team's impact is, and the only thing that you can list down is features. Now, we've all fallen for this dangerous delivery myth. We've shipped it, our job is done. But actually, shipping is just the beginning. Now, we know this mantra, build the right thing, build the thing right. So, this is a classic from the design system world, right? It's called the diamond or the double diamond. But I want to talk about how this can exactly map through discovery and delivery. So, from your starting point, you diverge, you open up. You open up to the problem area and you explore possibilities. You explore your options, you figure out different pathways, and you ideate. How are you going to solve this problem? What can you do to solve the problem? Once your discovery phase ends, you go on to converge. In convergence, you're essentially focusing down. You're making conclusions, you're taking decisions, you're accepting trade-offs, and you set priorities, right? So, delivery or convergence is like running fast. Discovery makes sure you're running in the right direction. But here is what we miss. We miss another diamond, which is actually the landing part. The landing in itself is a divergence and a convergence diamond. In landing, you first diverge. You roll out your feature to different user segments. You gather feedback. You discover unexpected use cases. You figure out bugs, right? And once you have that, you iterate and you fix things. You fix your bugs. You focus on what works. You implement some feedbacks that you get from your users. And you basically optimize your workflows. So, if you want to escape this build trap, you need a North Star. The North Star, every navigation system needs a North Star. And if your roadmap is a compass, then the North Star is your purpose. Now, what's a North Star? North Star is one key metrics that will best capture the core value of what your product delivers to your customers, right? It's not 2 or 3 metrics. It's always one metrics. Now, why do you need just one metrics? Well, that's because it cuts noises, right? Your teams chase one target that actually gives real value. Engineering teams, product teams, marketing teams, they all run in the same direction towards your North Star. And it actually helps you measure growth that is sustainable and meaningful and, more importantly, measurable. Now, there's a difference in matrices that look good in boardroom meetings, and then there are some metrics that actually add value to it. So if you look at what vanity matrices are and what North Star matrices are, you'd realize that where the noise is and where the actual values are. Right? So if someone tells you we have 10,000 users registered, but if only 50 users actually use your product every day, it doesn't really matter a lot. So Amazon would never value how many products you search or scroll. They value purchases per month. YouTube doesn't care about how many devices you watch your YouTube on. It measures the number of minutes watched and it measures how often you return to watch YouTube. And Instagram does not celebrate signups, it celebrates how long your thumb keeps scrolling until you give up. So, your North Star matrix should basically challenge you. If your matrices are moving in the wrong direction, your North Star matrix should demand your attention, because that's how you'll know that it actually matters. Now, let's shift gears, right? So you've built the right thing, you have the matrices and measurements that you want, and now comes the D-Day, right? You're going live. Now, here's the key distinction. Launch is an event, but rollout is a strategy. There are different types of rollout strategies, and I'll just list them down one by one from the riskiest to the safest. So, first strategy is the big bang, right? Everyone gets everything at once. It's like hitting a six on the first ball. High risk, high rewards. It's great for Shivam's marketing team, but not good for Gaurav's stress levels. Phased rollout, that's a smart approach. You release it for 1% users, 2%, 5 and 10. Gradually, you monitor your metrics, and then you keep iterating and improving your product. Beta testing is like phased rollouts, except that you select specific users to act as your dummy testers, and those users would actually give you different feedbacks and improve your product. Then there is a dark launch. Well, it's like going undercover. You release your feature, but no one sees it. It's for you to actually test your flows, check your performance, and check your matrices. A/B testing, that's an data over opinion approach, where you give two different versions of workflow, and the data basically tells you which workflow works better. And the final would be feature flags. That's like a remote control, right? If something goes wrong, you can switch it off. If you want to turn it on for specific people, you just turn it on, right? Essentially, what we want to do is we want to ship fast, we want to test safe, but most importantly, we need to recover faster. All right. Now, there are some common issues with launches, and there are 6 ways that generally teams fumble a launch, right? So, first one, you don't have a rollout strategy. You just ship it and you want to see what happens. The next one is no onboarding strategy. Well, you think that people will figure it out, but they'll never. No analytics or lack of instrumentation means you're just flying blind. You will never know what the adoption percentages are. Poor internal communication and documentation. Imagine if your support team gets to know about a feature from an angry customer, right? That's not ideal. And no success matrices. You will never know if you're winning or losing if you don't know what a win looks like. So then there are silent launches where you don't have any go-to-market strategy. You just ship it, and then you wonder why isn't anyone using it, right? Each of these form some product malpractices, and yet we would see these on the floor every week. Now, once you're live, that's where the real work begins, right? We need to listen, we need to learn, and we need to adapt. This is where good becomes great. How do we listen? We listen by gathering data, right? It's not about setting up a one-time survey. It's about creating multiple listening ports. So you can have in-app surveys, but you need to make them contextual, right? Immediately after someone uses a feature, ask them, was this helpful or not? Support tickets will tell you what the problems user face. FAQs will tell you what confuses your users. Your customer success team, they're your gold mine. They know what the problems users face. Behavioral analytics, right? You have tools like Google Analytics, Heap, Amplitude, etc. They tell you what user behavior is, because most of the times what a user says and what a user does are very different. And A/B testing, like we said before, the best way to know is to try all options and gather the data, right? Now, the magic is in synthesis. One data source would simply tell you an anecdote, but multiple data sources actually give you the truth. Now, once you have all those feedback, you need to analyze and prioritize based on impact and feasibility. Not every feedback has to be worked on, and not every broken thing needs to be fixed, right? So, what exactly do you do? Well, I mean, week one, you fix some UI, you fix some messaging, you fix edge cases. Week two, you can improve onboarding, increase workflow completion from, let's say, 10% to 20 and then 30. And sometimes the hardest part is to roll back a feature, right? You just kill a feature because a feature in life support is way worse than a dead feature. All right, now all of this that I've shared leads us to the last mile, right? Now, remember, it's not about the launch day, it's about every day after. This is where you would succeed or fail. Now, what does the last mile look like, right? Now, the last mile has some critical components, and if you miss any, you're going to fumble to the finish line. So, what are the components? First, user onboarding, right? You need to make things intuitive. You need to have tooltips, you need to have messaging, guided tours. Simply make it easy to use. Then you'll have internal stakeholder awareness. So, your sales team should know how to demo a feature. Your support team should know what problems your users will face. Your marketing team should understand what the real value proposition is. Essentially, everyone should sing the same song. Metrics and tracking, well, you should have dashboards, you should have data gathered, you should at least know your success signals, right? You should have them defined, and you should iteratively review it and see if they're improving or not. Communication, well, you need to have release notes, you have logs, presentations, enablement decks, anything that can help people and anything that they can refer to. And communication is not a one-time announcement, it has to be continuous. Now, support enablement, well, a happy support team always equals happy customers, right? These 5 elements, when they work together, that is how a great landing will look like. Now, if I had to conclude a framework for landing, A, you plan early. Plan your landing activities before or during launch or development, not after it, right? Communicate, like you said, continuous communication, not one time. Measurement, define your success matrices before you launch and iterate, right? You ship, you measure, you learn, you improve, and you repeat. It's not a cycle, right? You're never done. You are always landing. Now, I'll simply close with some different thoughts that should transform how we look at product development, right? First, we need to shift from output to outcome. Second, we need to break down silos, right? Engineering, product, design, support, marketing, you're one team, you need to have one goal. Third, build a learning culture, build a feedback loop culture. Every launch is an experiment, and every user interaction is a learning. And fourth, you need to own the entire cycle. Your job isn't done once it's deployed. It's done when someone actually uses it and finds value in it. The teams that win are not the teams that ship the most features. The team that win are the ones that deliver the most value, and that happens in the last mile, right? Now, remember, it's a relay, it's not a sprint. You're always passing the baton from discovery to delivery to landing, from product design, engineering, marketing. Drop it anywhere, and you're going to lose the race. So let's escape the build path. Let's master the last mile. Let's not deliver features. Let's deliver value, right? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rajan, for adding North Star, North Pole in my vocab report. Then he's going to make sure that everyone. Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions for Rajan? Know that he will win when he will get maximum number of questions from the audience. We have the maximum audience so far. Interesting. No questions. I think you are the best educator.
Thank you.
Best educator. So let's all once again. Thank you everyone for being such a great